Hello, welcome to another edition of the Fifth Quarter. I'm Mike Ciarochi, sports editor, Herald-Standard.com, joined again by George Von Benko. We're here today to talk about the Steelers' upcoming game at the hated Oakland Raiders.
Well, at one point, they were really hated. It's really funny. I had occasion to speak with Joe Gordon, the old Steelers PR guy, the other day. And I was part of it. I saw all those games, but he even reminded me of some things that had happened during this series. And at that time, back in the 70s, it was probably the most violent and disruptive series in the National Football League. Led to a lawsuit.
Yeah, yes it did. Yeah, and it had Chuck Noll on the stand having to
defend
lump his own players into the criminal element.
Mel Blount was right at the top of the list, criminal element.
Yeah.
But it's not that way anymore.
No, it's not. It's kind of a different game.
Maybe a trap game for the Steelers. They can't afford to overlook them.
No, I can't get a handle on a pick. I'm going to end up picking the Steelers to win. I think just because I want to be right. But I wouldn't be surprised if Oakland got its act together and put up a good showing, maybe even pull out a win.
Well, they're going to have to get a lot of things together. Carson Palmer has been okay. They certainly have some weapons.
Yes, they do.
It's just that everybody is misfiring out there, and the Steelers are going to go out there once again without Polamalu, without James Harrison,
without
Mendenhall. I did hear good news that Heath Miller is going to play, which is a big factor.
Yeah, Heath Miller's going to play. Ramon Foster, I believe, is listed as probable, so he's good to go.
Emmanuel Sanders is okay. Mike Wallace is okay. So other than the guys that we already knew that were probably going to miss the game, they're going to be at full strength. It is the scene of one of Ben Roethlisberger's worst games in his career. He threw 4 interceptions against them, which he's still trying to figure out, and so am I. You just wonder. But everybody seems to be of the mind that they've got that being pounded into them. Hey, it's the National Football League. You can't afford to just go out there and throw your helmet on the field and go through the motions and think that they're going to roll over.
Right. Well, so far, out of the gate, after 2 games, the Raiders have shown they cannot stop the run, which plays into the Steelers' hands should they choose to do that.
Because Mike Tomlin has not been happy with the running game.
It was the same situation out there before when Ben threw the 4 picks. Everyone expected him to run the ball up and down the field, and they ended up trying to throw it up and down the field, and it didn't work out.
The offensive line is taking ownership, at least in the conversations I had when I went to practice on Wednesday, of what's happening with the running game. They say they've got to do a better job because there was a curious comment. Isaac Redmond, after the game, asked about the running game and not to throw his offensive line under the bus, which Isaac would never do that. But he said the holes aren't there. So what's that tell you?
But, something else to watch for that you probably won't get to see, point blank. Terrell Pryor from Jeanette is he's a backup quarterback to Carson Palmer with the Raiders. And if you see him play, it's probably not a good thing for the Raiders.
No. I asked some of the guys about Carson Palmer. His numbers have dwindled since his Cincinnati days, since he had the knee injury. I don't think he's really been right since that injury.
I don't think he's been the same player whatsoever since Kimo von Oelhoffen accidentally, I guess, bumped into his knee a little bit. But we also should probably discuss a little bit the travel to the West Coast. It's never an easy thing, and it has affected the Steelers in the past, I think. So that's something else to look for, to see whether they can come out sharp early in the game, take care of business, and move on.
Yeah, it would be good to put your foot on their neck right away, not let them have any room to. The other thing is the atmosphere out there. The place is a dump. It has been for years, and they may have the most vicious fans in the National Football League.
Potentially, yeah.
So what's that tell you? Wear your helmet on the sideline.
Okay, I think we have enough time for each of us to make a pick.
I'm taking the Steelers.
All right, and I will too. I don't know if you want to put a score on it or not.
I'm going to say 24-7, something like that.
Okay, I'll say 24-21.
Okay.
Just give the Raiders a little bit of juice. And that will wrap up this edition of the Fifth Quarter. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.